My name is Christopher Whitaker. I'm here with the Brigade team along with Monique and Hannah, which are also on the line. We also have Brend and Babb from Code for Anchorage, who's going to be presenting a little bit later. This is the second CodeAcross workshop. Some of it's going to be review, and then some of it's going to be some new material. During the first workshop, we talked about the pre-work you need to do before your CodeAcross event, and today's going to focus on work that you're going to be doing after your event. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we will get started. So can everyone see the screen okay?
Yeah, looks great.
Okay. So CodeAcross is one of our national days of action. And not only are Code for America Brigade chapters going to be hosting events on March 5th, but also Code for All chapters around the world. This year's CodeAcross is in line with International Open Data Day. And so not only will you be hosting events, so will other Code for All chapters as well. On the call, we have Hannah Young and Monique from HQ. We have Brendan Babb for Code for Anchorage. And then anytime you have a question, feel free to answer it feel free to put it in the chat and we'll respond to it. So this year, it's going to be a little bit different. This year, we're going to do sort of an entire year of programming. CodeAcross is all about developing a prototype so that you can then work on building your prototype until National Day of Civic Hacking. I know we've just sent out something to all the captains talking about National Day of Civic Hacking. If you launch something during National Day of Civic Hacking, we're going to fold that into our press kit ahead of time so that we can help spread the word about your app launch. And then we'll also be putting together a packet that we're going to give to various funders and foundation and Code for America partners so that your work that you do during National Day and that you've been working on all year can get recognition. So for CodeAcross, we definitely want you to build a prototype with partners. This is the time where you should be talking to stakeholders, figuring out what types of problems you want to solve, and gearing up your event to help develop prototypes at CodeAcross. But sort of the dilemma with any hackathon is that you're not always going to be able to work on a finished product. 1 or 2 day events really don't lend a lot of time to develop a finished product. And so we'd like all the brigades to have a plan to continue to work after CodeAcross. Hack nights can be great for this. You can start something at your event, fold it into your hack nights, and then sort of have those regular meeting times to make a more powerful, more complete app that has a lot of impact. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brendan Babb from Code.
Okay, so I had a slight mishap in that my laptop charger, I left at home, and at work my laptop started to die, so I don't quite have the slides I want, but basically the information I wanted to go over with for social media, Chris was nice enough to ask Code for Anchorage to go over some stuff, although I think there's a lot of brigades that do a really good job at it, is First, if you're lucky enough, have great products. Code for America's Balance by the health team is a really straightforward product for checking your SNAP EBT balance. So it's a pretty solid application. And what we've done in Code for Anchorage is deploy it and also try to translate it into other languages that are specific to Alaska. Like an Alaska native language, Yupik is the second or third most used language in Alaska. So trying to tie into the locality of Alaska. Another thing that Anchorage has an advantage in is that our state's relatively small. There's 700,000 of us, and Anchorage has about half the population. So Code for Anchorage, things we do in Anchorage can also kind of be done at the state level. Another tip I have is always wear your Code for America track jacket all the time, because people will just recognize you and associate you with that. And the other thing we've been lucky with is working with partners. We have a new administration that's come in July of last year, and they've been very supportive of Code for Anchorage and Civic Tech. So when we worked with People Mover, which is the local transit here, we had a real-time SMS product that we'd made at Code for Anchorage, and we asked to partner with them in terms of marketing it. And we kind of gave them the free reins to kind of market the application. So one thing that was beneficial is they were able to put it on the buses themselves, put flyers up on the buses, which really helped use. And then also they don't have a huge Twitter or Facebook presence, but they've been promoting it on there. And so we have a lot of stuff that's co-branded with Code for Anchorage, and then also with People Mover or Transit. Another challenge in Anchorage is that Twitter is used mostly by politicians and journalists here. It's not quite as big in terms of regular people using. So often we will get a lot of retweets outside of Alaska, like across the nation. Often we have stuff that seems much bigger than it is, but people in Anchorage don't know about it. So I'm interested in input from other brigades on how to reach people more locally. And then also we've had a lot of success with taking photos of events and also putting video up of applications. So we have 4 or 5 different phone applications, and I've recorded video of using the applications. And I would suggest posting those to the native. You can post it up on YouTube, but then also Twitter and Facebook have their own native video upload. And they seem to show that more. I don't have hard statistics on that, but that seems to get more impressions than if it was in YouTube. And then the other thing is we look at analytics.twitter.com for our channels and try to see what has resonated. Things, simple stuff like things with photos and things with video seem to do a lot better. Alaska's 4 hours behind the East Coast, so I'm not sure how timing works in terms of stuff being picked up by the rest of the nation. But that's some of the advice I have. And then also, I mean, I'm lucky because this town is small and I've lived here most of my life. So we had photo opportunities with the mayor. And just 2 days ago, the governor met with another group I'm in. So it was nice to be able to take a selfie with him wearing the Code for America jacket. And that seems to, people seem to like that and retweet that. And then also, I've been working with M Relief out of Chicago, and they just got a Knight Foundation grant. And I had taken a photo with Rose and Genevieve from the company at the Code for America Summit. And just seeing what's going on Twitter or social media, they had just won the Knight Foundation grant, and I posted a congratulations with a photo of the 3 of us, and Knight Foundation retweeted that. So a lot of it is just seeing what's happening locally and having a good idea of what images you already have of your projects. We had a click that hood for the Iditarod Trail, so you can try to name all the checkpoints in the Iditarod Trail or Alaska Native languages, and when news items come up in Twitter or Facebook related to that, then we just post something close to that. And also, sounds kind of lame. I picked this up from someone else. I use Microsoft Paint more than I ever expected to just do a print screen of an application and just crop it so that I can have an image to post along with in Facebook and Twitter, and that seems to really increase the traction of it. But I think we've just been lucky. Alaska's also has 7,000 reality TV shows right now for some reason, so there's a certain cachet with that. But I'm really interested in what other people have used to track media. One thing we're looking at is something called automatic ads or automate ads. They were a Y Combinator company, and they just changed names recently, but they are trying to use machine learning with Google Ads and with Twitter, with Facebook. And so you give them 4 different images, and they kind of track which one's getting the most traction and which words are resonating, and then they automatically fine-tune that. It's kind of more targeted towards a larger, if someone's spending $500 on social media a month, so it's not quite in our roundhouse, but we're experimenting to see how it works because it could get you much cheaper ad buys. And we're also really interested, I think Code for America Health Team's done a great job with Google Ads in terms of reaching people trying to get SNAP through Google Ads. And we're trying to figure out how to reach the market because we just did a SNAP pre-screener with InRelief, and we've gotten great press outside of Anchorage, inside of Anchorage, but not actually the people that would use the SNAP pre-screener. So we're trying to figure out how to reach the actual audience that would use the project. Thanks. And I can post links later once this is over.
So, and some of this is review, but the actual rundown of how to run a civic hackathon. Hackathons are a lot of work. There's a lot of pre-planning that's involved. There's a lot of checking things off lists. And to do that, we've created, in partnership with Rally Software, Hackshot, not only to participate in hackathons, but also to help run a hackathon. Since our first workshop, they've actually updated the Hackshot to make it a little bit easier to use and a little bit more robust. If you go to hackshot.waffle.io, you'll see these 2 options. It says I'm an attendee or I'm an organizer. If you say you're an organizer, it's going to guide you through preparing for your weekend, and it'll give you sort of all the task lists that we use to help run hackathons. You just check off the task, move it to the done pile, and keep going. We also have sort of how-tos in the Brigade playbook to help you as well. So to sort of wrap up, definitely use the relevant sections in the playbook. We have lots of good information under hosting hack nights and days of action. Don't be afraid to use Slack or ask for help from your brigade members. This stuff's kind of hard to do. And then after the event, we're going to be sending out a survey to say, how did your event go? What did you work on? How many people did you have it there? Anything, if you could do us a huge favor, anything that you build during CodeAcross, if you could fill out a civic.json file. If you remember before the project search that we built, the civic.json file helps us tag projects in terms of what state they're in, what subject matter they're about, if they need help or not, and that'll help us keep track of projects that occurred at CodeAcross that we can then point people to after the event and say, here's an example of some of the great work that we've done.
So I had a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm helping to organize CodeAcross in Honolulu, and we're throwing it in coordination with a local event that we call Unconference. And we're hoping to throw a fairly large event, actually. And we got a grant from the city to cover quite a few of our expenses. And so we have a little bit extra to pay for things like swag. But a lot of times swag comes for free. Is there any partners that we can reach out to that are partners with Code for America that could deliver some swag to us that we could give to the crowd?
So we had a budget initially for CodeAcross swag,
right?
And given the sort of the budget crisis, we've opted not to send out swag this year. Right. We're going to save that funding for other events down the road, probably National Day of Civic Hacking. That said, what we definitely encourage people to do is to reach out to local partners and sponsors. to see
Right.
if they'll help produce swag. We can certainly give you sort of the CodeAcross logos and the high-res Code for America logos and graphics to make the swag out of, but at this time, we don't really have resources pointed towards swag things, at least not at HQ.
Okay. Is there any partners that might be good to reach out to? And I mean, that's fine if not. I'm just wondering if there's any.
Most likely, it'll be your local partners that'll probably be a little bit more help with things like that.
And then my second question related to this is, it's kind of an open-ended question, and I kind of know the answers to this, but what beyond just having some good media and a civic JSON created would really be viewed as like a big win coming out of the weekend from each brigade? So it's like, is there something that you could say, like, if you can deliver X, Y, and Z from the event, that's really good, from everybody to deliver?
So the way I judge the success of hackathons isn't necessarily right after the event,
right?
But rather 6 months later, what's gone on. So either a prototype that was started at the brigade has gone, has exploded. It's a full app now. People are using it. You've got real users. That's one way to say, this is definitely a win.
Right.
The other way you can say it's a win is if you get new people at your event, which the National Days of Action tend to do that. And, they work on something and then that totally flops, but people got really interested in civic hacking and civic technology and sort of learned skills and have jumped onto a bigger project. That's also a win. So not only is it building apps, but it's also building community. In terms of sort of the overall picture for brigade events throughout the year, we're also going to count it as a big win if a prototype that you develop at CodeAcross actually gets launched during National Day of Civic Hacking. For that, we would check that off as a huge win. And since that's going to be rolling into our content calendar and our press strategy for National Day, if you do that, we're definitely going to help you tell the story to not only national media, but we'll help you tell that story to your local media as well.
Okay. So that would be kind of like the ultimate goal there, is to develop a prototype at this event, which can be then launched at National Civic Day, would be like the ultimate win there. Okay.
Yes.
And then also, it sounds like to kind of like validate the building of community, it would be good to have like some sort of metrics that we can pass back, saying like, our membership at, project nights or, attendance has gone up since that event or something like that, to be able to just quantify that and show that, it did have an impact.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Thanks.
Cool. Other questions?
One more question. So we're trying to identify volunteers or people that will kind of manage the social media during the event locally. Is there anybody that is kind of assigned to just managing the social media for the entire CodeAcross during the day of, that we can maybe coordinate with day of?
Yeah, so we'll be using the CodeAcross hashtag. Okay. Everybody at HQ will be monitoring it, myself especially. Okay. Zoe, who's the marketing and content director for Code for America, she'll be sort of watching the hashtag too, and so you can expect a lot of retweets and shares from the big CFA account.
Okay.
And then I'm sure in the Slack channel, in the brigade Slack, we'll be talking about our stuff too, and encouraging people to share at that during the day as well. Okay.
I mean, I know social media is it's everybody participates sort of thing, but I was just wondering if there's like, specific people that sign that. Okay. So CodeAcross for the hashtag. And then I guess one more question, is there any international open data day sort of projects or focus, or it's just we're coinciding with that? Is there anything that we're going to do kind of maybe to tailor?
We're not. So all the Code for All chapters are, some of them are participating, some of them aren't. We're going to try to get everyone to use the CodeAcross hashtag, but in terms of sort of a global, like everybody's going to work on this, I don't think we for this year at least, we have anything coordinated in terms of like a worldwide effort. We're actually going to be attempting to do more of a coordinated effort nationally during National Day, but there's going to be a lot of planning and logistics to work around there. And I don't think we really had enough time to attempt that for CodeAcross. But certainly keep your eyes open for National Day, because we certainly will be doing sort of a larger coordinated thing. I know that's one of the things that brigades have been asking for, is sort of to work on a project sort of with all the brigades. And we hope that that National Day is going to help fill that hole.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions? Easy crowd. Okay, so if nobody else has any questions, I think we'll wrap up. Certainly feel free to ask questions in the brigade Slack, or email us at brigade/info@codeforamerica.org. And I know that's sort of difficult work doing hackathons, and I know that sort of doing it at the beginning of the year, it's always rushing around, but we definitely think that CodeAcross is going to set us up for success this year. And then in the meantime, feel free to reach out to us on Slack.